The WEF plan to remake America just got a big boost from Vladimir Putin. Are you paying attention to what's happening? Because the destruction of the West, the destruction of America, is being sped up by the war in Ukraine very, very quickly. Now, by the U.S. sending billions of dollars to create an endless war, it gives a huge victory to Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. And Vladimir Putin is about to put the nail in the coffin of the West because these globalists are, frankly, morons, and they created a situation that gives him the ultimate leverage right now. Guys, we are being used like pawns on a chessboard, and we can't let it happen. We are about to see massive food shortages, a total destruction of American and European farms. It's already happening. It's happening all around us. Just ask any farmer what they're paying for seeds right now, what they're paying for energy, what they're paying for fertilizer. They're having to reduce the size of their acreage and their farms just to keep up. One of the largest independent farmers in America this weekend said this is all a plan of the WEF to crush small farmers, to drive them out of business with this ridiculous shift to renewable energy that will create massive food shortages. Watch.
Fertilizer is up 250% from what I was paying 2 years ago. 250% increase on fertilizer. We have diesel fuel is more than 100% more. Seeds are 300% more. Plastic, the plastic mulch that we use millions of dollars worth to cover the beds is maybe 350% more. And these aren't regular inflation. Usually the plastic would follow the oil market, so it should be maybe double, but it shouldn't be 3.5 times. And they are manipulating the input cost for all the farmers in this country to reduce the acres. So this year is the first time in my lifetime that I've ever reduced the amount of acreage that I grow. We've always been growing and growing and growing. And this year we actually cut our farm back to about half.
Hundreds of percentages increase in fertilizer, hundreds of percentage increases in energy and seed costs, all because these globalists want to destroy the old system, the system that has lifted millions out of poverty with oil, gas, and nuclear energy. So last week, the United States, by all accounts, blew up the Nord Stream pipeline in the largest eco-terrorist attack in the world since 9/11. Now, Klaus Schwab was so damn happy about this because his dream, of course, is to move the West away from Russian oil and Russian gas. Biden's lackey, Antony Blinken, said we need to use the sabotage of this pipeline as an opportunity to accelerate Klaus Schwab's dream. Watch this. He literally said this.
Ultimately, this is also a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous opportunity to once and for all remove the dependence on Russian energy, and thus to take away from Vladimir Putin the weaponization of energy as a means of advancing his imperial designs.
Okay, so he didn't use Klaus Schwab by name, but you get the point. Here's something you must understand. Vladimir Putin has condemned the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and his plan to transition the world away from fossil fuels, to move countries to renewables like solar and wind. He's called it a joke. To move countries off of nuclear. It's madness. And it's, by the way, a death wish for millions of people who are going to die from hunger, from lack of heating. Look what's happening in the Czech Republic. This was this morning, where students are so cold they're not turning on the heat because they can't afford it, so they're all wrapping up in blankets to learn. Is this any way for kids to learn at a school? Are you kidding me? Here's what Putin said about these batshit crazy globalists. Watch.
Мирового развития могут представить свои варианты развития. Но как бы западные и так называемые наднациональные элиты не стремились сохранить существующий порядок вещей, наступает все-таки новая эпоха, новый этап в мировой истории. И только подлинно суверенные государства могут обеспечить высокую динамику роста.
Putin is right. Regardless of how you feel about the guy, he's absolutely right. It's a total joke that is backfiring right now in their globalist faces. And Putin is about to put the nail in the West's coffin with nuclear power. That's right, nuclear power. So the West just blew up Putin's $11 billion gas pipeline to Europe. Germans are going to freeze this winter because it's all part of the plan. They shut down all of their nuclear plants, Germany did. So they have no energy, and they don't even have enough firewood to keep up. And now the world is waking up. Oh shit, we need nuclear energy. And Putin holds the keys. So you thought Nord Stream pipeline was a big deal. Just wait until you see what Putin's about to do with uranium, which powers these plants. You can't do this on solar and wind. So did you know that 1 in 5 American homes is powered by nuclear energy? They don't want you to know about this. They also don't want you to know that 50% of that energy comes directly from Russia. That's right. 50% of all nuclear power in the United States comes from the enrichment of uranium from Russia. It only takes a few tons of uranium, actually, to fuel an entire city, a supply that can be mined, actually, in a few days. On top of that, nuclear energy produces zero carbon dioxide emissions. There's virtually no uranium production in the United States at the moment. I just want you to let that sink in for just a moment. The United States has the most nuclear reactors in the world and no uranium production. And if you want to build a nuclear power plant, you'll likely be buying the power plant from either Russia or China because they build them. They have us by the balls. And by the way, it's not their fault, it's our fault. 27 of the 31 reactors built in the last 5 years are either Russian or Chinese built nuclear reactors. Now, the United States is scrambling to get new reactors online, and they're trying to buy them from South Korea, but they don't have the capacity, so we're screwed. So if NATO continues bombing eastern Ukraine, which is now a part of Russia, Russia has already said that it's going to stop the flows of uranium to Western countries. Things are about to get really bad, and sadly, there's not much to stop it. So let's go back in history a little bit. We see things unraveling actually when President Bill Clinton screwed us over and screwed the United States by selling America's uranium mines to Russia. That's right. Clinton sold a mine called Uranium One. Now, you might remember that name because it was a big scandal. Uranium One, the scandal. Why did he sell this mine?
The uranium deal involving Hillary Clinton. Big news there. The Justice Department has lifted a gag order on an informant in the case.
Well, as we now know, Clinton also received a $500,000 speaking fee in Russia and reportedly met with Vladimir Putin around the same time of the deal. So draw your own conclusions about the motivations behind selling this mine. By the way, side note, don't you find it hilarious that Hillary Clinton was trying to pin Russian collusion on Trump when her own family was directly benefiting from Russia? You can't make this stuff up, guys. The good news is that the largest North American uranium company just got that mine back from the Russians. That's right. The company is called Uranium Energy Corporation and is really the only company that could have pulled this off. They are a NASDAQ-listed company and they use their stock ticker as UEC. You can look them up. Thank goodness they did this because now they can ramp up production in North America to take our dependence off of Russia and China. They managed to buy back this uranium mine from the Russians about 2 months before the war broke out. That's right. They bought it and signed the deal, signed, sealed, and delivered in December of 2021. Just think about this for a minute. The globalists are having to face up to the fact that you cannot run the world on solar and wind energy. Those technologies only make up 3% of the world's energy supply, and they are 100% backed up by fossil fuels. They need all of the backups to be reliant on fossil fuels. So it's a ridiculous move. And the answer is nuclear, which we've been singing the praises of on this show for years, by the way. But even as the uranium prices surge because the world is paying attention to the need for nuclear energy, uranium itself remains vulnerable to a squeeze on supplies from Russia. Now, according to research from House Berenberg, Russia only accounts for 5% of global uranium production, but it is responsible for more than 40% of active worldwide enrichment capacity. Putin is not backing down either. And Russia is ready to shift its uranium supply away from America and Europe and instead sending it to Iran, India, Brazil, North Korea. The U.S. will be screwed. That's why Uranium Energy Corporation is supporting today's video to get this message out about uranium. The only thing that Democrats and Republicans agree on right now is the need to ramp up nuclear energy production. The Biden administration wants Congress to approve $4.3 billion for domestic uranium production, moving us away from Russia. And they need to do this right now. There's bipartisan support. So call your member of Congress. Tell them to support this legislation. Uranium Energy Corp, which is headquartered in Texas, is literally the only play in town right now in North America because of their access to their mines that they already have ready to go. It takes 10 years or longer to bring a mine online, and we don't have that kind of time. So what company do you think is going to be front and center as America shifts to nuclear? That's right. UEC is currently trading right now at $3.60 a share as of this video recording. And two analysts have stunning price targets out right now. One has UEC share price jumping to $6.60 a share. Another price target, of $7.10 a share. This is the fastest 100% unhedged pure uranium play in America right now, with production-ready mines and a balance sheet of $182 million in assets with no debt. And by the way, they also have 5 million pounds of uranium warehoused in the United States, ready for sale to the U.S. government. So get ready for an explosion in value, in my opinion. 45% of the company's shares are institutionally held. That means the company holds the shares. This is the go-to nuclear stock for Wall Street right now when it comes to U.S. domiciled leverage to nuclear energy, something I watch very closely. So if you are a commodities investor like myself, you'll see that this is a holy grail for mining investors right now. Uranium Energy Corp actually has a physical position and is backed by the underlying commodity itself of uranium. They're sitting on 5 million pounds of uranium that they acquired at an average price of $38 a pound. So where do you think that this asset will be trading when uranium is selling over $100 a pound? Yeah, no brainer. Anyway, the West has to do something right now in order to keep the lights on, and we need to wake up to what these globalists are trying to do by shifting our energy supply off of cheap, low-cost energy and trying to make all of us drive electric cars, putting up solar panels, putting up wind turbines. It's insanity. So anyway, do your own due diligence on UEC. I'm going to put the stock ticker up here on the screen so you can do your own research and dive into this data about uranium, and you'll see what I see. And we'll see you next time, everyone.